Quick one, nothing here is financial advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only. Always do your own research or speak to a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Enjoy the episode and like and subscribe.
Hello, welcome back. Another episode of Beramates, and we've got Pemby, or his Sunday name, LordPemby Squigglebop.
Yes, it's my Christian name. Yeah.
Goes by this on Sundays. So you guys, like, it seems like you've got three names: Yeet Cup, Yeet Ards, Yeet It. Like, what you guys are going by? You've got a lot of different aliases, but everyone knows who we're talking about. When we refer to this.
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of a branding issue, but we are very retarded. So, I mean, these things do come up. The kind of name we're trying to consolidate onto is just Yeet. But everyone in the community is a Yeetard. But our Twitter name, for some reason, is still Yeet Cup.
Yeah, you get put in Elon Musk's isolation chamber if you change the name or change the profile picture too often as well. So,
yeah.
So you have to be careful with that one. Like we had the Berachain guys on, and they're still going down the whole kind of airdrome, velodrome kind of route, which is kind of hilarious because they completely pivoted on their product now and not going to be a solidly style deck. So a little unconventional in the Berachain ecosystem, but I think that's what the beauty of it is. I've said this a few times, like surface level, it can kind of throw people off, which I think is a good thing. And then as soon as you start digging deep, you start seeing like products like what you guys are building, and it's just like, oh, this kind of eureka moment, and might have something really, really special here. But yeah, how have you been? We were just saying before we jumped on, it's like crazy busy. I complain all the time, but you guys must be like super, super busy at the minute.
No, not really. I mean, me and the dev team, we just lounge by the pool and drink beer and smoke cigarettes. We don't do much work.
Yeah, we've had to one of our, like, basically Mike, who does all our operations, he's like, right, I'm quitting vaping. It just takes up too much. It's really, really bad. So he's quit vaping, and then he's like on meetings and he's just like putting his zins in now. I'm like, you just give up one vice. You should pick up another one.
Yeah.
And then we were speaking to the Puff Bar team, like we're trying to like line up an event over there, and it's just like, Mike, you're gonna have to get back on to the vapes.
Yeah.
There's a Berachain vaping deep coming live soon.
Yeah, that whole vape puff darn thing is very Berachain.
It's so funny. Like, you know what? Oh, it's I got scarred last cycle from getting offered the step-in seed round and just being like, who the fuck's gonna do move to earn? And then at like 1000x or some shit, and I was just like, I will never give up a silly idea ever again.
Yep. All right. So we like the vapes.
We like the vapes. Yeah. So can you kind of give us a high level of what you guys are building? If anyone's a LARP holder, they should be eternally grateful for you guys for giving them the whitelist for the Yeetosystem NFT. But can you kind of give us a high level of what you guys are building for anyone who's coming a little bit cold, and then we'll just kind of pick the bones off it as we go through the podcast.
Of course. So firstly, we'd like to describe Yeet as a thermonuclear Gigaponzi, and that's exactly what it is. So we have a core game, which is a mixture between a DeFi protocol and a fully on-chain game, which I'll describe. And then adjacent to this core protocol, we have a bunch of DeFi flywheels, like you mentioned earlier, and some other kind of cool DeFi shit we're exploring. And we'll get into all of that. But firstly, for the game itself, what it is, it is quite simple, actually. We have a prize pool here, and people deposit Bera into the pool, which we call yeeting. You yeet Bera into the pool. And the last person to deposit Bera into the pool wins the whole pool. So that's pretty simple, right? I mean, we've seen these things before. The twist here is that by making these deposits, you farm the native governance token, which is the Yeet token itself. And why would you want the shitcoin? Because the shitcoin makes revenue, and revenue comes from all the other Yeetards playing this game. So every time someone makes a Yeet, it's taxed And some of the spera from this tax goes directly to the Yeet stakers themselves. So even if you don't want to be the last bearer making the Yeet and winning the whole prize pool, you can still make money by, I don't know, buying or farming the token and staking it and making money off all the future idiots. So that means there's multiple game theoretic strategies you can employ, essentially. Another fun thing we're implementing is that 20% of the final prize pool will also be distributed amongst random players in the game. So yeah, just by playing, even if you don't win, you will earn some Yeet tokens, and you'll have a small chance of winning the lottery.
Sick. Can I I'm just gonna screen share, right? So because I think you kind of blew Dan's brain, the poor guy. I think you need to put him in a coma because you going on about the flywheel, and he's like, "You're gonna have to speak to them because I it's going over my head."
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening on Spotify, do yourself a favor and head over to YouTube, because we're gonna go through. How did you describe the flywheel?
Oh, it's a thermonuclear Gigaponzi.
So we're going to go through the thermonuclear Gigaponzi. So if we start at Yeetard on the left here, and let's say we go right and deposit Barrett into the Yeet Cup. So 90% of the deposits go into the prize pool. So that's just like a one-time deposit, right? So that's once it goes in, you get the opportunity to withdraw or not?
No, once you've yeeted that away, it's gone.
Sweet.
Yep.
Right, now the remaining 10% of that is going to Barrett Infinity public goods. So is that kind of like a bit of a treasury? Or?
So that will be the Gitcoin essentially of Berachain, and
nice.
we'll be funding it. Yep.
Okay, so moving on to the right. So breaking down that 10%, 2%'s gone to Barrett Infinity, 7% deposits gone to a Yeet staking contract. So this is kind of a way where you're not just kind of getting people depositing Barra, hopefully earning a lot of Yeet, and then just kind of selling it onto the market. You want to kind of incentivize people to actually go put it to a staking contract. And then there's a little bit of a flywheel here. So I don't know if you want to expand on that one.
Yeah, indeed. So what's happening here is that 7% of every single Yeet, so if someone eats 10 Bera or 100 Bera, 7 Bera is going directly to people that stake the Yeet token themselves. And we see this as a way of going long on human idiocy, essentially.
Jesus Christ, I'd remortgage and sell all my worldly possessions like this, like human idiocy.
Yeah.
No financial advice. Don't someone clip that and then say it.
Yeah.
Remortgage a house and put it all into.
Guys, you heard Grant say it. It's here. It's recorded.
Ollie, Joseph, Henry, if you're listening to this when you're doing the editing, you will all be fired if you do that.
Yeah. So
that plays into your Barra revenue as well, yeah?
Absolutely. Yep. So, I mean, the thing is that the more people that buy or stake Yeet because the revenue is high, it means the incentives to come and Yeet are of more value because people farm the Yeet token itself just by making Yeets, by depositing Bera. So that drives kind of a reflexive flywheel, the kind of reflexive flywheel we see all across DeFi. Yeah, nice. Which is great on the way up, but also bad on the way down, right? So it's decided.
Yeah. So on just if I can just take a step back. Are these what does the kind of emissions curve look like on this? Like, is it dynamic? Like, is it linear? Like, how do you kind of forecast out the demand for the price pool and then kind of allocate emissions accordingly? Is it front loaded? Is it how do you guys kind of think about that and what's it going to look like?
Yeah, so the emissions curve for the token itself is predetermined. It won't be dynamic. I'll explain why. And it'll be a concave curve, which means it starts, emissions are higher at the beginning and then they kind of taper out. The reason it's predetermined and not dynamic is because we want to give people to exploit kind of this long tail MEV opportunity that arises here. And what I mean by this is because the way the tokens are distributed to the players, it happens every epoch, which is every 24 hours. So once a day at midnight, the contracts will look at, who are all the Yeetards that, made Yeets this past epoch and distribute the Yeet tokens to all of them pro rata. So if you yeeted 10 Bera and I yeeted 30 Bera, that means I did 75% of the volume and you did 25%. So therefore, I get 75% of all the Yeet tokens to be distributed this epoch.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's say for whatever reason that the value of the Yeet tokens to be distributed this epoch, is $1 million. So that means I get 75% of $1 million just by doing 75% of the volume, right? So it doesn't matter if that volume is 1 barrel or 100 barrel or a bajillion barrel. So in periods of low volume, this means that there's an interesting opportunity for people to make a very strategic Yeet right before the epoch closes to try and farm an outsized number of tokens, essentially.
So what? So you kind of expecting not a lot of volume to come in earlier in the epoch, and the vast majority of the actions start coming in towards the end.
Perhaps, yeah. If some people want to use this strategy, what we've seen, those people are Yeetards and they just come and eat anyway, just because they think it's funny and they like the game and roll smooth, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's when we see these like fun DeFi Ponzi's that pop up. They come up every now and then. And what we've seen is all of them tend to be a flash in the pan. They have a lot of hype very quickly and then they kind of die down. So a lot of the reasoning behind a lot of the mechanisms here in the design is how to make this kind of sustainable long term and design it for longevity. So that's why we've kind of built in these mechanics and also some of the adjacent DeFi liquidity flywheels, which we can get into.
Sweet. So that final part of that 10% is going to bury Yeet LP. Do you know what is that going on? Bex, is it going on Kodiak? Do you know where that's going yet? Or
yeah, it'll be a V3 pool on Kodiak. Yeah.
Kodiak, yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I suppose you've got the liquidity incentives and Beramates in there as well. So, what else have we got here? Partner protocols. Yeah, can you expand on this? Because one thing that's really, I can imagine, is a really kind of champagne problem to have. That ecosystem is so active and there's so many people building over there, and there's like so many kind of unique and smart builders that are actually operating on Berachain. Like, how the hell do you go and decide who to buddy up with? Because there's a lot. Like, how do you kind of think about that? Or, would love to kind of pick your brain on that.
Yeah, good question. So you're right. There's so many different ways you can incentivize liquidity on Berachain, right? And how do you figure out what's the best way and how do you buddy up? Well, the short answer is they're all scams. And Yeet being Yeet. Yeah, and well, us being us, we've been deep in the ecosystem for a while now, and we're pretty buddy with a lot of the protocols there. I mean, if not most. I mean, most if not all. So what Yeet in specific we will be doing is we will have a bunch of protocol-owned liquidity, which we're farming, and we've created a strategy called the Liquidity Trifecta. And the Liquidity Trifecta is built with Kodiak and Berachain. And what happens here is that the Yeet liquidity pool on Kodiak receives Kodiak incentives as a launch partner. And furthermore, we've also done a token swap with Berachain. The token swaps we give to Berachain, they use exclusively for bribing our gauge. So they send O-Beru emissions to our Kodiak pool LPs. And in addition to that, we'll also be bribing that gauge with some of our own treasury tokens. So that means that people who LP this pool, the Bera Yeet pool, they receive swap fees. So here they're receiving Bera and Yeet. And in addition, which will be boosted because you can use the Kodiak ALMs, the automated liquidity managers, to manage the V3 position more effectively. And you'll also be earning O-Beru and Kodiak. So now you're earning 4 tokens as an LP, which makes it very juicy. which is very nice. And in addition to all of the above, once our pool is whitelisted for BGT rewards, I understand I'm throwing out a lot of acronyms now, and some of the listeners may not be familiar with all of them. If you are not, don't worry about it, or worry about it. I don't know. I'm not your mom. But so once the pool is whitelisted as well, we can start using some infrared strategies. And infrared is like kind of the convex, if you will, but also kind of the Lido of Berachain. And what that means is that we can start using the liquid staked version of BGT, which is called IBGT, as well as IRED tokens, which we can use to compound, lock and compound and direct even more incentives to our pool. And part of the reason is part of the reasoning of why we're focusing so hard on building these very robust liquidity flywheels is because when farming incentives are so high, it gives people also demand to get the token to farm these incentives, which also gives people more of an indirect incentive to come play the game, to farm the token itself, right? Which drives more volume, which drives more revenue to the Yeet stakers. So in practice, if we play this out, I mean, potentially we see the market doing an arbitrage of Yeet staking and farming strategies.
Awesome. I'm gonna make a note that we're gonna do our own diagram on this whole yield strategy as soon as it goes live, because that's I was following that and I was just like, this as you say, a turbo Gigaponzi, which is absolutely brilliant. Like a lot of the listeners will absolutely love to see that on paper and like try and put the strategy into use, because all of those products are so good as well. We need to get the infrared guys on. Kodiak guys are great. Berachain guys are great. I love the Berachain guys that still call in the community the low IQ community. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
But that is, I don't think it, without being on Berachain, I don't think, and because of how it's setting up and obviously not live on its mainnet yet, you'd be hard pressed to find an ecosystem with so much composability for these such yield opportunities, I think. So I can't wait to see it go live. I'm going to be like all over it as well, and I'll make sure we get it all documented down. And I'm going to probably be getting on your nerves, Pester and Yeet, to kind of tell me how to play this best once it goes live.
Yeah, no, please bug away. Actually, at Yeet, because we have this background of constructing these liquidity flywheels and stuff. Now we also help out a bunch of protocols with liquidity strategies and all this kind of stuff.
Sweet. And so, as I mentioned, how are the Yeetod's NFTs playing into all of this? Because obviously the LARP holders were granted very kindly from you guys early access to that. But can you kind of give us like what the angle is there? And yeah, just the floor's yours on that one.
Sure. Well, there's many different ways here. There's three main ones I'll break down. Number one is that just by holding, the NFT, it means you have exposure to the project, so you will receive something from Yeet. Wink, wink. Number two, which I think is very cool, is that by holding a Yeetard NFT, you'll get a boost on the Yeet rewards you earn if you play the game. So earlier I described how the epochal distribution of Yeet rewards is distributed to players like pro rata according to how much volume they've done in the past epoch. So if you hold an NFT or more, the amount of Yeet you receive here will be boosted, essentially. And all the kind of math there and how much the boost is exactly will all be in our documentation. But you guys can't read anyway. And number three here, which is very exciting, is because we have so many partners and strong partners in the Berachain ecosystem. A lot of partners also want to kind of reward our holders, and a lot of this is because we're kind of known in the ecosystem for having built up this really cultish community where people have started making yeeting videos and smashing eggs on their faces. Like it's really baffling. It's beyond me. But we have over 100 videos like this, and people see, I think, as rewarding these holders as a good way to get a lot of cult Berachain people on side. So we have about 4 or 5 people that will give bunches of nothings to Yeetart NFT holders, as well as different perks and NFT-fi integrations and yada, yada, yada.
I think that's a really, really good way. It's kind of it's a growth hack to kind of onboard existing strong communities, and you kind of see that across full industry at the minute. It's a bit of a kind of that's going on. It seems like my ladies are just getting every single airdrop in existence, aren't they? So
yeah, absolutely. So we are trying to position our NFTs as, well, not the miladies of Berachain, because miladies are kind of cool and everything. Yeetards aren't cool, you know.
Hey, is it going to be bridge open for like once Mainnet's gone live, or people are going to be able to just kind of keep them on Arbitrum?
There will be a bridge.
Okay. So is everything ready? Like, are you just like waiting for Mainnet to go live? Is there anything still in development? Like, what's the lay of the land there?
Yeah. So the core game itself, which we've discussed earlier, is pretty much ready. Currently, we're just undergoing audits, but you can try it out right now on Berachain testnet. It's yeetit.xyz, so yeetit.xyz. Yeah, we've seen some rounds run up pretty high. We had one round run up to 48,000 Bera. And I know it's testnet, but for context, people are grinding the full set for 0.1 Bera every day. So yeah, I just went to show that people are even more retarded than we thought. So what we're currently building out is we're scoping out different kind of products we can build under our kind of umbrella, and where we can leverage our brand, and this action of yeeting, where people can yeet into different kinds of things. Like, what if you could yeet into, I don't know, this other kind of financial product? So I can't say too much here because we haven't announced anything, but yeah, we're exploring other kinds of things we can build under this kind of cult and leverage the brand we have.
Love that. I'm just checking latest at the minute, and there's a lot of messages that I can't read out because YouTube might ban me. It's if anyone wants to go and check that, just go and click on latest, and you can kind of see the current. You can see the current price pool that's ongoing. People are leaving some less savory messages to each other, which is quite hilarious to see. What's the potential like ROI on these? What have you kind of seen? Has there been any cool anecdotes or any kind of stories off the returns?
Yeah, I was playing early on actually, and I farmed a bunch of the Yeet token. I staked that, and then when we had some pretty hyped games where the prize pool ran up to a lot of Bera, I ended up actually earning a bunch of Bera, more than I initially yeeted, which was nice to kind of see our thesis play out in action. Something that's interesting here, sorry, this is a bit of a tangent, not really answering your question, but we've played around with the game mechanics. For example, there's a timer reset, like the time till the end of the game is, reset after each person makes a yeet. Originally, this was 20 minutes. We played around with this. We changed it to 1 hour, and we started seeing people behave differently and games lasting longer and prize pools running up more. So your question was about, what interesting kind of stats have come out of this. What's been fascinating to see is how changing some of these mechanics drives, people to behave differently under these new rules of the game, and how it affects kind of the revenues and the size of the prize pool.
Is there you should get a troll box going. People just throw shit at each other.
Yeah.
On here. Discord activity might drop, so they'll all be on here just throwing shit at each other, but that'd be actually quite hilarious.
Yeah.
They're cracking me up, some of the comments on this. But there's some big prizes I'm just looking at through here. There's 1.8 thousand. Yeah, I can't wait to get this going. I'm gonna spend way too much money on this fucking thing. I just know I can't help myself. whenever there's a timer involved in a game, I just feel like I have to kind of win and then just end up spending way too much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did a countdown timer on the auction for the LARP collection, and if you try to snipe the last 5 minutes of the bid, it reset the timer for like 5 minutes, and there was just like these bidding wars going on for like hours on end. People just giving each other shit. Discord. It was great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I saw the LARP auction actually, and it reminded me a lot of the llamas NFT auction.
Yeah, they did it for us. They did all the back end for us and held our hand through the full process because as we're beyond left curve, so we had to bring in some right curvers to help us do that.
All right, great. Well, yeah, the llamas are definitely right carvers.
Yeah, they're absolutely great. So what's next? Like, what do you guys want to see next? Is it primarily just a waiting game now to go live? Is there anything else you want to be aware of? Like, and how can kind of people get involved, I suppose?
So on the last part, I would highly recommend that nobody gets involved. I would stay far away from this. But if you are too retarded to listen to my recommendation, check us out on Twitter at Eat Sleep Yeet, and don't check out our Discord, which you will find in our Twitter bio. And otherwise, just go yeet away all your testnet Bera. What's next for Yeet? Well, we're going to keep yeeting it, and we're still scoping out a bunch of these other complementary things that I've hinted at. And we will continue building liquidity flywheels and relationships in the ecosystem, which we've done, which we've been doing a lot of the past few months, and we will continue to do so. We'll keep shitposting relentlessly, and we will keep eating.
There you have it, folks. But go and give it a try out on testnet. Jump in Discord, and if you've got a few shitballs, got pick up Yeet TIA and keep linking us. Quick, just that. But yeah, Pemby, thanks so much. If you want to jump back on once you guys are live, I'd love to have you back on, and we can just go and waste a lot of money live on it. That'd be great. And if there's anything you need from us, please let us know. We're always happy to help. But thanks very, very much for your time. And if there's anything else I might miss that can fill people in on, for yours. But other than that, thanks again.
Oh yeah, thanks so much, Grant, for having us on. It's been a cool chat. Really enjoyed it.
Awesome. All right, thanks a lot, everyone, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Yeet.
All right, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please give us a like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on for next time. See ya.